I am your host, Nina, otherwise known as Ine on Ravelry, Instagram, Pinterest, and Blue Sky. And thank you so much for joining me today. For new viewers, thank you so much for checking me out. For returning viewers, thanks so much for coming back. I appreciate you. So I recorded a little bit last week, but I ran out of time because my husband and son came back from jujitsu, and we usually go to Costco after jujitsu, so just had to leave the house. Since then, I've actually finished the project that I presented. I might still cut in. I don't know if I will or not. I'll just tell you about it this week. Because I did have a finished object for last week as well. I didn't have it. I still don't have it. My husband has it. But today my allergies are absolutely terrible. I had maybe one of the worst seasonal allergy attacks that I've had in like a year. So my nose started like literally dripping. And I felt like my eyes were just like, ugh. I don't know what got in my nose, but it needs to stay out. So I did take my allergy medication. And it seems like it's starting to work. I actually took Sudafed too because I was just done with that. And I did an Edipot, so we'll see. But I didn't dare put any eye makeup on because my eyes are so itchy right now that I think it would just irritate my eyes more. So yeah, I don't have any makeup or anything on, but I'm here, and that counts for something, right? Yeah. So I hope that everybody is staying as safe as you can, doing the things you can do. It's been a lot. Oh, here we go. Okay, sorry. Squirrels. And now Hubble keeps trying to bite Ada's front legs. It's what he does to initiate play, is he tries to bite her front legs and then she's trying to pull them away from him. For those just joining me, this is one of my co-hosts, Hubble, the Great Pyrenees. And my other co-host, Ada, is over there screaming at everyone and everything, like Pyrs do. All right, so this mound of stuff behind me is the things I want to share with you. I am wearing the For Keeps cardigan. It's a design by Samantha Guerin, and I test knitted it last year, I think. It is out of the Ponkin colorway in the Chonky Tweed base from Plies and Hellhounds. I don't know if she still stocks Chonky Tweed or it might be a seasonal thing. I now have 2 cardigans out of Chonky Tweed and I have one more sweaters quantity of it in Leather Round. And I think, I don't know, I was going to try to make that for another Rhinebeck sweater this year, but I'm trying to be honest with myself. I'm not having great sweater luck. Excuse me while I cut a spot on my nail that was ripping and will catch on everything I touch. Yeah, so I've had to frog, rip back, or repair a bunch of sweaters recently. So I'm kind of feeling like I need a win, a sweater win, and I'm struggling on what to cast on that might be that sweater win. I do have a few ideas. One thing I was thinking of is a DRK Everyday sweater, which is an Andrea Mowry pattern. And it's just a plain, pullover. Another thing would be another Cozy Classic Light. Yeah, so I don't know what I want to do. I'm kind of flailing around a little bit right now, trying to figure that out. And I just realized I don't have any of my acquisitions over here. So anyway, let's get started with finished objects. I don't know if I've shared this on the podcast, but it's done. It's done. I think I have. Anyway, this was one of my sweater wins, is the sweater number 12 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, but I do think I've shared it, so I'm going to not share too much about it, but it's out of Knit Pick City Tweed in a plain like light blue color, and then I had a rainbow pack of single skeins, kind of like a, I don't know, they have like value packs on Knit Picks where you can get almost like a try it of all the different colors and stuff in a yarn line. So I got that to try out all the colors of City Tweed. Okay, baby. And yeah, so we'll see. Hang on, I'm gonna pause. Okay, sorry, I had to take a sip of coffee. Yeah, so that was a nice way to check that out. I think I might use the leftovers to make a rainbow something something for Joshua, because he's been asking me for a sweater. I think that could be cool with like a black as the background, maybe just like some color work. There's a really cool color work yoke that has kind of like, it almost looks like a star, and then the rest is solid. The Wayfarer sweater, I feel like that's the right name for it. Anyway, I've got the pattern for that, so I might knit that one for him. And then I have knit him a flax or flax light every year, going up in the size range. And he currently doesn't have a flax sweater that fits him, but he does like that style. So that's another candidate for what I could knit for him, and I could just stripe it. That could be fun too. So anyway, all right, let's get to the other guy that I finished. So I finished my Lifesavers cardigan. This is a pattern by Tanis Fiber Arts, and I knit it out of Foxhill Farms Cormo in an undyed brown and a minis pack, like a sweater weather minis pack from Dragon Horde Yarns. I think it was the Draken fingering base. So let me bring it closer because these two stripes aren't showing up on camera when I'm back here. They kind of fade into the background a little bit. I know this one's cinnamon apricot. This one is like cinnamon chai. This is sweater weather. One of these is like boots or something. Anyway, I don't have all the colorways written down, but I really like them. And this Foxhill Farms Cormo was just amazing to work with. So I have this much left. I think I told people when I started that I was worried I wouldn't have enough because I only had 3 skeins. I had more than enough. So I think they're kind of more generous with their yardage than they have listed on the ball bands. But anyway, I got that at my very first rain back in 2018. So it's nice to have it knit up into a sweater. And yesterday I got these buttons from my local yarn store. So they're a nut, she said, and they are machine washable. I was also looking at some leather buttons, but she said they're really not machine washable. So she's like, you'd have to put them on in such a way that you could remove them when you wash it. And I'm like, no, I'm going to hand wash it, but I don't want to not be able to wash my sweater at all. And I don't want to have to take the buttons off every time I need to wash it. That is nonsense that no one has time for. So I'm going to stand up here. It's not blocked yet. And these stitch markers are on there to indicate where the buttonholes are. So, yeah, it's a V-neck. So like where this first buttonhole is where the V ends. So it's a V-neck, and then, you know, obviously a straight body. I should just put it on. It'll probably be easier to share that way. Okay. It's not going to lay perfectly, obviously, because it has not been blocked. So I think it will lengthen a little bit with blocking. But if it doesn't, I can always rip the bottom. Well, I really can't because I put the button bands on, so I can't do that. But I think it will lengthen. Most of my sweaters do. When I block them, they lengthen some. But I do like this length. I didn't want to make it too long because I have a couple of really long cardigans already. So right here is where the first button is going to be. It called for, did it call for any kind of bind off? I don't think it did. It didn't tell you how to bind off, so I just did a normal bind off. I didn't want to do a stretchy bind off. And I think the button band is laying really nicely. I might put ribbon on, I don't know. It's also not quite as straight because reasons. Because my stripes aren't lining up. Okay, there we go. So that's what it's going to look like. Anyway, I made my cuffs kind of go to here, and then if they lengthen, it'll be alright if they're a little bit longer. I'm okay with that. I ended up with more stripes on my sleeve than I got on the body, because I only got 3 total blue on my torso, and then on my sleeve, oh, I got the same, sorry, no, I think it's the extra orange, so everything after the blue, this part is longer than the body. Because obviously I ended the body on a blue. I specifically wanted to squeeze in that last blue one because I didn't want to only have one blue across the middle and then nothing. I think it makes it more symmetrical and kind of, I probably am going to wear it mostly with jeans. So then the blue stripe is going to be the closest to like the denim. So I think that'll really look nice for a line. I was able to get a tank top that's exactly this color to match it from Old Navy. They had a sale of their summer stuff, but I'm like, I wear tank tops underneath my knitwear year round. So there were 2 different styles of this kind of dark brick red color. So I have multiple things I could wear under it. I don't think I would go with anything except for a darker color underneath because these colors I think would distract from the overall look of the cardigans. I think brown, this sort of cranberry or brick, and then maybe a navy are the colors I would wear under it. Like this looks fine under it. But this will definitely be one of my Rhinebeck sweaters. I think my sweater number 12 is going to be my other main Rhinebeck sweater, and then if it's hot, Rhinebeck, oh, my sweater number 12 is over there. This is Hubble. Not my sweater number 12. And then if it's really hot, I'll wear my summer session tank. So yeah, I think I'm pretty much covered now for all of the conditions of Rhinebeck. And I have a Friday, Saturday, Sunday mix. I can take other sweaters too. I have crap tons of sweaters. It's not like I'm hurting for knitwear, so I'll be able to wear something. Yeah, but I'm so happy with how it turned out that I've almost exclusively been knitting on this because, as I said, I'm struggling with sweater wins, so I stuck with a stockinette project that's very easy to pick up and put down. I don't have to think about it that much. And yeah, I like the fit. I would definitely knit this pattern again. I think it might be nice to have a plain one, maybe a black, and I do have some black yarn that I got at Connecticut Sheep and Wool. I got Gabby's Deepest Midnight on Marie Cutie, so that could be fun to do a all black one. Okay. I don't know that I want to jump right in and do exactly the same sweater again though. So that might need to wait a little bit. But definitely I recommend this sweater pattern. It was very well written, very easy. She does not write it with the stripes. She just tells you what she did for her striping. So I did exactly the same thing. So the whole like stripe and plain is a 10 round repeat. So I did 2 rows of the contrast color and then 8 rows of the solid color all the way down, starting after the short rows for the back of the neck. Yeah, and the button band is contiguous. So you basically do everything up here, and then when you're completely done with the whole thing, you pick up all the way around and knit your contiguous button band. Use a provisional cast on, so the neck stitches are sitting there waiting for you. And if you'll recall, I started out with a size 5 needle here and then realized that my gauge was looser than it had been in my gauge swatch, so I went down a needle size to a 4. I was worried that was going to be really bad. You can't even tell. It's fine. I changed after not very many rows. I think I changed when I switched to that contrast stripe, and yeah, it was fine. And I haven't even blocked it yet, so I imagine it's going to be okay. Yeah, I've not woven in all the ends yet, but I did have to weave in ends for picking up that contiguous button band. So there they all are woven in. So I'm halfway there. I'm not even halfway, because the sleeves have, you know, 2 for every single stripe all the way down, plus the 2 for, you know, the one for joining the main color and the one at the end of the sleeve. So basically I was able to do like the body and 1.5 sleeves with 2 skeins of yarn. And then the last sleeve was about, I don't know, 1/3 of this skein. So I think I have enough here still to make some hand warmers, which I'm gonna do. Tristan from Dragon Horde Yarns released a free mitt pattern that has like colorwork sheep on it, and I think I'm going to use this and a natural cream to make those because they're really cute, and my kids really love hand warmers, so I think that'd be nice for us to have another set of hand warmers in the warm things basket. So anyway, yay, Lifesavers cardigan! And it was really fun going to my local yarn store. Got a newish location. They've been there for a while at this point. It is a bit chilly this morning. It's only like 61 in the house right now. But I like having the windows open. So I think they've been in that location for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 months. But I haven't made it over there. So I finally made it over there, and it's very cute. And it is right next to a local coffee shop. And Gabby and I try to meet once a month for coffee, which is really nice because I don't have a ton of friends who are local. So yeah, it's good to have somebody to just meet up with and talk to and stuff. So we've been going to, or trying to go to local coffee shops, which is a lot of fun. So we went to one, was it in Rocky Hill? I don't know, somewhere over there across the bridge, last time. And it was really cute. It's kind of bee themed. And then this time, because I needed to get buttons from the local yarn store, we decided to go to the coffee shop that was attached to that. And I had, frankly, the best pumpkin spice latte I've ever had in my life. It was amazing. So yeah, if you're looking for a pumpkin spice latte, maybe try a local shop, because they did a great job. It was not overly sweet. It had the perfect level of spice. I mean, it was really good. Like, sometimes, you know, when you have the foods or beverages that, like, you think about again. Like, I'm thinking about it. Like, I can remember the experience of drinking it. So yeah, good stuff. Sorry, Anna, I'll edit that out. Okay, so then the last thing that I finished is the sock head hat that I made for my husband, and this is the thing I said I don't have with me. I gave it to him, and I think he already has put it away with his winter things, so he knows where it is when it is snow blowing season again. So I made it out of this yarn, which is Flies and Hellhounds. It's on the Lucent base. This was part of the folklore collection, and it was Fenrir. So it's like brown with oranges, greens, and I think there's a bit of purple in there. There's definitely like some dark brown colorings. Anyway, so I modified the sock head to not be, you know, floppy. Sock heads usually have like slouch to them, and he did not want that. So I made a shorter like brim, and then more like a toboggan. Sorry, now I have dog hair on my tongue. Yeah, so I'll insert a picture of it here. And it turned out really nicely. It fits his head really well. He requested a thin hat that he can wear as like a layer when it's he's outside snowblowing, but it's too sweaty for him to keep his thick hat on. But he doesn't want to have his head be exposed because he shaves his head. So obviously you don't want to have that in case of, you know, you don't want to get sick in the winter. So yeah, I thought with the silk content, it would breathe better and give him what he needed, but still be, you know, fairly light and just one of those thinner layers. Sorry, I'm pausing a lot. I'm trying to like drink fluids and my throat feels like it's on fire right now. Okay. This, I started to frog it. So this was my Berry V-neck raglan by Jessie Made Designs. It is just way too big for me. I don't like how overly slouchy it is. So I want to make it into a carved pullover. If you can't tell, this is the same colorway. This is Ponkin. I knit it out of the penny base held double with her mohair base. So you can see there's two strands there. Maybe you can't because they're really stuck together. This is obviously been worn and washed and dried a lot. Let's see if I can pull them apart. It has very much eluded me in terms of an easy frog. I mean, I guess I should have expected that with it being mohair. So it's just a slog to rip it apart. So I do a bit and then I stop. And also, like, I would add in a new ball of mohair, but not add in a new ball of yarn. So then when I try to frog it, I end up with like this. I'm planning on keeping it together because the carved pullover is a DK weight sweater anyway, so it's fine. I can knit the two held double. But I did want to start that because I think it will be a nice, easy stockinette project. There's just a tiny bit of lace work in the front because of the, it has a jack-o'-lantern face on the front that's done with yarn overs. So I thought that would be really cute out of this yarn. Be a nice like seasonal make, but you know, I essentially could wear it as soon as it gets cool enough, and I don't care about wearing Halloween stuff all the way through the winter. Screw that, I love it. Don't let anybody steal your joy. So that's why that's sitting back there, is I want to frog it, and I'm working on it, but it is a slow process. So then what I'm working on. So I started the second sock of this pair, and this was one of my 12 cast-ons for 2025. I am now on the heel flap of the second sock. These are knit out of Knit Picks Felicini, which was their short-lived version of Felici that was all in one ball, but it was not as soft as Felici, and the stripes were smaller, so like a 2-row stripe for the self-striping instead. I do like the colors that they did, and it's not terrible yarn, but like compared to Felici, why did they change it? It was fine the way it was. So anyway, I think I got 2 colors of it. This one, which is Lemon Bar, and then the other one I got is like Stagecoach or Wagon Wheel or something like that. So it's kind of, it's 70s rust colors. So, yeah, I'm using some Marie Cutie for the heel toe cuff, and this is in the Day colorway, and it really matches nicely. So yeah, I anticipate getting these maybe done this weekend because I am almost done with the heel flap, and then all I've got is the gusset and foot, and we're going to Costco today, so I get a lot of knitting time in the car on the way and on the way back. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. This bag is my tale of woe, but thank you, Gabby, for being my support person as I frogged it. So this is the My Favorite Adventure sweater, and I do want to make this, and I would like to make it. I wanted to work on it for the Advents of December's Past knit along that Hannah hosts every year from the Corner of Craft podcast. So last time I maybe showed this, if people were here, I was well past the sleeve separation and onto the body of the sweater. However, I did something wrong roundabout here, and I think it sat in a project bag for long enough that like the stitches maybe had tightened up a little bit. So when I knit my next plain black round and then I knit the next colorwork round, it was tight. The colorwork was tight, and it looked like there was a giant black like stripe, like a very distinct black stripe. So you can see it's just 1x1 color work all over, and there's a plain round between the color work rounds. And I'm doing 6 rows per color. This is the Advent calendar from 4 years ago from Chromatic Yarns. And then this is Knit Picks Felici when they did the solids. So this is the midnight or cold? I think it was midnight. So it's just a true black, true solid black. Yeah, so I tried to fix it by going back and duplicate stitching over the row where the floats were too tight, but it didn't fix it. It actually made it worse. So I took that back out, and I was like, I have to rip it back. There's nothing for it. I have to rip it back. So I had like that much, probably 4 inches that I had to rip back. I had to go back to prior to the sleeve separation. So now I need to figure out how many more increases I need to do, because you do these increases on, see where that solid black line is? That's the raglan increases. So I have to figure out how many more raglan increases I have left prior to sleeve separation. There wasn't a ton before sleeve separation that I had to rip back. It was really that I had got a lot done on the body. So yeah, I need to do that. Maybe I'll do that while I'm editing the podcast, because I basically just need to count how many stitches I have and then compare it to the pattern and look at how many I was supposed to get up to, and then yeah, go from there. But, you know, I would not have been happy with it. It was right here, so it would have been extremely visible for anybody. It was not going to block out. Yeah, so it was the right choice, but, you know, it took me a good 30, 40 minutes to rip it out. Yeah, so I'm happy I had some moral support for that, because I would have just left it in the bag for probably a couple more years and not ripped it out. Okay, so speaking of the advents of December's past, make along. Oh no, I'm not going to be able to show this. Crap. Can I just... Okay, here's what I'll do. While I'm chatting with you, I'm going to knit across this row, because I left it mid-row because Gabby had to leave and I needed to go get my buttons and go do other errands. So I just left it because sometimes these rows take a little while. So, yeah, this is the Scrap Witchery blanket by Sock Witchery, who is Lindsay. Sorry, I should be able to knit and talk at the same time, but I'm also thinking at the same time. So, yeah, it is a fisherman's rib, an all over fisherman's rib, and I am knitting this blanket holding double my advent calendar from last year from Chromatic Yarns. It was the Muppet Christmas Carol advent calendar, and basically all I'm doing is I'm just knitting until I run out of the mini, and then I just knit right into the next mini, because I'm just going to go until I think it's a nice length, and that's what it's going to be. But I'm using up the advent calendar, and I really like the blanket. We always seem to need more couch blankets in this house, no matter how many I have. The kids drag them all over the place, and I can never find one when I want one to snuggle under. And honestly, I only have one hand knitted one. We have one that my sister knit out of like Kool-Aid dyed yarn, but I think it's cotton because it was a blanket she gave me when Joshua was a baby, and we do use that one, but when it gets really, really cold, it's just not warm enough. Because it was meant to be, you know, a play blanket or a blanket that you'd put over like a car seat or something like that, and you don't want those to be too hot. So it's really nice, and the colors have held up really well. But yeah, I basically have that one, and then I have my 10-stitch blanket that I knit out of wool and alpaca, and that one is very warm. That is the coveted blanket that everybody wants and fights over, and it gets moved around everywhere. I think it's currently over by the window. It's often in my corner chair, which I'm thinking about replacing because I don't really like it. It's not super comfortable for the way that I sit. Yay, I finished the row. It's an IKEA chair, and it's also had issues because it's yellow, and yellow I have realized is not a good color for my house because my dogs get it dirty, my kids get it dirty, and it looks horrible now. So I have these stretchy covers that I've purchased online, and so I changed those out for the different seasons. So I have a purple one on it right now, kind of for Halloween, matches my garlands and stuff, and then I have a dark green velvet one that is on it kind of most of the time. Yeah, but I want to get one from World Market. They have a rust colored one, kind of this color, velvet, and I think that'll be a nicer color for the life that I lead. And the seat is not too deep. So part of the problem is I have very short legs. I have a long torso and very short legs. So when I sit on most furniture, my feet are out like I'm a child, and I can't touch the floor. And so then I have to cross my legs and I'm really far back and then I can't sit up properly. And I really hate having bad posture also. So these chairs at World Market, they're kind of a vintage style, which I guess basically means you don't have this ridiculously deep seat, which is just meant so that you can be like this. And I don't watch TV and lean back like that. I sit up straight and I read books and I knit. So I want a chair that I can maintain my proper posture in, and they do have one. So I'm really very deeply thinking about it. Maybe we could go to World Market today so I could sit in it again. It's on sale right now, like deeply on sale. I think it's only like $150 or something, which in this day and age with tariffs and everything is a pretty good bargain for a really nice chair. Sorry. Coffee and nose blowing break. Yeah. And then this one would go downstairs into the basement in the gaming area, which I think would be nice because the we have like a chair and a half kind of armchair, so it's not quite a love seat, but it's a little bit smaller than that. That my friend Andrea gave to us. But the cushion that's in it is kind of starting to degrade, and it's not enough room if all of us are down there, like if we go play Mario Kart or something like that. And I have my rocking chair down there from my great grandma, but that really doesn't work well for when you're gaming. So I think this chair could go down there. The rocking chair could come up into my office, just to be a place to sit. And then I'd have the chair over here. Longer term, I do want to also replace this sofa because it has the same problem that the cushions are very, very deep. So I also cannot touch the ground. It would be nice to be able to touch the ground. There is also a sofa at World Market that is like dark brown, kind of velvety, but I don't have the extra money right now to buy a sofa. Sofas are much more expensive than a chair. A sofa is like $600 or $700. So yeah, anyway, don't have the money for that. And it's not her priority. This is fine. I have a place to sit. It's fine. Okay, so that was very long-winded, but I might just start a new row, or I might start a new mini because I don't have very much of this mini left, so I might just cut off this extra bit because I don't want to do part of a row and this will not get me across. So this is what I have left of the current mini. Definitely not enough to get across a row. So here she is. This is, it looks small, but it's very much not. Let's spread it out on this side. Yeah. So like my fingertip to my nose is about 3 feet. I can basically stretch this, my full wingspan, both sides. So it's about a 6 foot width blanket. And then I don't know how long it is at this point. Let's see. Let's do the same thing. It's about 3 feet, a little bit over 3 feet long at this point. So my hope is that when I get to about 22 minis, it'll be basically fine. And maybe I can do the full 24. But we'll see. I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to knit until I think it's long enough, and then that's fine. If I don't use all my minis in it, whatever. So I'll stand up so you can see it. So like I said, I'm holding it double with an undyed Knit Picks Felici. I got, I think, 5 skeins during the Black Friday sale last year, or maybe the Christmas sale. It might have been the Christmas sale, because I think you're very, very cool, man. I think that I cast this on during Vlogmas, but maybe not, because it is one of my 12 cast-ons, so it would have had to been Christmas Eve at the earliest for it to count. So maybe it was a Christmas Eve cast-on. My friend Sue and I were doing it together. I don't know if Sue is still doing her blanket or not, but I'm definitely doing mine, and I really like it. It is very cozy, and we're just getting into the weather where it's going to be so nice to like have it on me while I'm knitting it. So I'm very excited for that. Yeah, so that was the end of that ball as well. So basically what I did is I did 2 monster cakes. They are not magic knotted, so they're not really magic cakes, but they sort of are, I guess. But basically what I do is I just like wind them on in order, so that then I don't have to keep track of which mini was which number, whatever. I just like wind them on, and about 2, sometimes 3, will do a whole advent calendar. So yeah, this is the remaining 12. So I did 12 and 12. This is the remaining 12. So I'm going to join this one now. What's going on, Hubble? Maybe it's the mailman. I don't know. Yep. And then I've got this much of this ball of Felice's. The Felice's holding up really well. I have 2 or 3 more skeins. I honestly don't know how many Felice skeins I've gone through so far. I think I've gone through 2, but also I had one that I cut accidentally because it was adhered to the tape on the shipping box on the inside. So when I cut the shipping box open, I cut through the skein. And Knit Picks sent me a replacement skein because I contacted them and I was like, hey, I don't usually expect to have my yarn taped to the tape with a gap. So there was like a visible gap in the box, and it had been able to get all the way up onto the tape. So they sent it in a box that didn't like seal. And they were like, no problem, we'll send you a replacement skein. So they did. So I have an extra skein in case I messed up on my estimates, but based on there being, 24 20-gram minis, I think I should have more than enough, assuming they're roughly the same yardage per gram. And I think they are. When I checked, I think they are. So anyway, that is basically the only other thing I've been working on. And I frogged my Lakeside. That was this, because I took the gauge of it, and it was supposed to be 6.5 stitches per inch, and I was at like 5 stitches per inch, so it was going to be massively too big. And it's kind of a more fitted sweater, so I didn't want that. So I was like, nope, I'm going to have to redo it and figure out what my gauge is, and I am not in a mental place to do that right now. So I'm just going to find something different to work on right now, and this yarn is going to go back in my stash and marinate a little bit more. So let me pause and go get my acquisitions, and I'll be right back. Okay, I do not have much in terms of acquisitions because I am trying to not buy yarn until Rhinebeck, because I'm going to Rhinebeck and I want to enjoy being able to purchase things and hang out with my friends and, see what I see. So there you go. However, Gabby's flock color this year was an attack. So this is the flock colorway, one of them. There were 3. I almost bought the other one as well. It was a really pretty purple, but again, we've got some like medical bills we need to deal with right now. And we did buy a greenhouse. We bought a greenhouse kit from Costco. So anyway, don't need to be buying bunches of yarn outside of the once a year festival that I'm going to. So this is the Bainbridge colorway, and I got mine on Marie Cutie. She had a choice. It was a pre-order, and you could decide. There were several bases that she had it available on. So it's gorgeous, oceany green, greenish blue. I guess it's teal, but it has those nice splashes of green in it. You can see it a lot there. Yeah, so this is going to be so good. So good. It kind of reminds me of the Alentia colorway, but the Alentia colorway was much more towards the green side of things. And that one I made my Salty Air DK out of. And I love that sweater. So this is a fingering weight version of that kind of color. So yeah, I just couldn't pass it up. It's too pretty. It's too pretty. And then the other thing was the local yarn store purchase. So my local yarn store has a 70% off section where they put things that are discontinued. So they had this Ella Rae Taki Stacy Charles 46% wool, 28% silk, 26% mohair yarn. It's not orange, it's a brick red. Really pretty red. So it's got this nice fuzzy halo. So I got 9 balls of that reddish color and then 4 balls of this color. So I'm thinking some sort of stripy pullover situation. That stuff is good. It's very halo-y. Look at the halo. Ooh, so nice. It's not showing up at all. Maybe it will on the red one. Yeah, you can see the fuzz. It's very fuzzy. But they were on sale for $3 a ball, which is a really, really good deal. So I think the whole sweater is like, I don't know, $40 or something. Yeah, 46 bucks for a whole sweater's quantity of yarn. And I think that's going to be a really nice combo. I just need to pick out a pattern for that. So that is the only other thing that I got. That's basically everything that I've been knitting. Yeah, so if you have a suggestion for any patterns that you think would be just kind of simple, like nothing too crazy, you know, it could be fingering weight, it could be DK, or even worsted. I do have some worsted weight, not very much worsted weight quantities of yarn. I mostly have fingering and DK. Yeah, I would love to hear it. I did buy the Arachne pattern? It's the Andy Satterlin. She re-released her one with the spiderweb on it. She's been slowly re-releasing patterns with more size inclusive measurements and more complete instructions on her Patreon. But you can pay to get access to the individual posts that has the updated patterns on them. So if you don't want to be part of her Patreon, but you want a pattern, it's basically the price of the pattern to have access to that post. So that's the way you can get it. She's not selling anything on Ravelry, but those patterns are being re-released slowly, and they have a very large size range now, which is nice. So I think she's done 3 so far, maybe 4. She's done 4. But if you do her paid tier, you get access to all of them. So it's definitely a bargain to do that. And then you get to vote on which ones she's going to size grade up next. So this month, I think she's got it between 4 different ones, and the Chuck sweater is one of them. And I wanted to knit the Chuck sweater when it came out. There were a couple of pretty prominent podcasters at the time, none of whom podcast anymore. That was around the same time when I started podcasting, about 11 years ago. Yeah, it's like cabled on the front. Yeah, it's really pretty. So I hope that I voted for the Chuck sweater. So I hope she redoes the Chuck sweater, and then I definitely would knit it. It actually was not originally size graded even to where I could knit it with a 44-inch bust. So it definitely needs to have some sizing done, but I'm glad that she's doing it. And yeah, that's basically it. That's everything I have to share for this week. Thank you so much all for joining me. I really appreciate all of you. It is a hard time right now. It is a hard time in the US. So yeah, stay safe, stay engaged. We all need to band together, make community, support one another, support small businesses, support independent creators, support our press and our poets and our comedians and everybody. Let's just all be together. And yeah. So anyway, until next time, I hope that you get some time to do the things that you love, and I will talk to you soon.